No one ever really thought much of humans. At best, they were considered persistent. At worst, pests. In a galaxy where most species measured history in millennia, humanity's few thousand years of recorded civilization didn't impress anyone. They were tolerated, barely, given crumbs of space territory, assigned to dead-end trade routes and backwater diplomatic posts. Even their so-called fleet was a joke, a collection of patched-up cruisers with aging tech and more rust than threat. And humans? They didn't argue. They didn't protest. They just smiled. Smiled too much, some said. But everyone remembered the incident at Dilax Prime. It started with a flare in the outer systems, an uncharted region humans had claimed for research purposes. Most species thought it was just another excuse to dig up rocks and pretend they had something of value. But the flare wasn't natural. It was a pulse, a signal, and it didn't just reach the nearby star systems. It reached the Council Core itself. The pulse carried frequencies so old, so embedded in the root layers of galactic technology, it triggered panic in species who hadn't felt fear in generations. A High Council emergency meeting was called within hours. "They're building something," hissed the Thoraxian representative, her translucent skin vibrating with tension. It came from Human Sector 9, no authorization. No explanation. No. Respect for Council authority. The Kral Dominion's ambassador, a reptilian brute named Kolzeth, slammed his claw on the metal desk. "They are primitives. They've always been primitives. They couldn't build a proper fusion drive without begging the Saurians for schematics." Then, the room's lights flickered. Every datapad, hologram, and AI node in the chamber went dead. A single screen blinked on. It was grainy footage, unfiltered, unbranded, old. A ship. Number, not a ship. A monolith the size of a moon, dragging itself out of the shadow of a dying gas giant. Its hull was blacker than vacuum, etched with faded symbols that no translation algorithm could decode. It didn't glow. It drank light. It was older than any Council ship ever recorded, thousands of years older, possibly more, and it flew a flag none of them had ever seen. Except one. The Tralvex Archivist, a species that claimed to remember every known event in galactic history, gasped audibly. "That sigil? It's pre-Council, pre-Calorith War, pre-everything. It's forbidden." Someone in the shadows spoke. A soft voice. Calm. "We never said we were weak," the voice said. "You just assumed." A figure stepped into view on the screen. Human. Older man, maybe in his 70s, wearing no uniform, no insignia, just a faded jacket and gloves too worn to belong in a Council broadcast. "My name is Admiral Rion Ward," he said, "and what you're seeing is Vessel 7A Nix, 1 of 12. The room erupted, shouting, hissing, vocal cords vibrating across species. The Kral ambassador demanded to know how a barely civilized race could possess ships of that size. The Thoraxian called it a bluff, a video illusion. The Tralvex archivist trembled. "That ship was listed as a myth," he whispered. "It was said to have destroyed the Seraphine Empire with a single orbital breach. That empire lasted 80,000 years. Admiral Ward didn't smile. "We found them," he said simply. "We didn't build them, but we figured them out, eventually." "And you didn't tell us?" a voice snarled from the Council floor. Ward tilted his head. "You never asked." Then the screen cut out. For a moment, no one moved. Even the air in the chamber seemed frozen. The Council Core, unchallenged for over 90,000 years, had just been reminded of something it forgot. Humanity wasn't young. They were hiding something ancient. And now, they weren't hiding anymore. Panic doesn't spread through the galaxy like it does on a single planet. It's quieter, colder, like a crack in the hull of a ship, barely visible, but deadly if ignored. Within 2 standard days of Admiral Ward's message, 5 major empires declared emergency alerts. Not war, not yet, but full-spectrum surveillance on all human sectors. Trade lanes were suddenly under review. Diplomats were recalled. Ambassadors were instructed to smile, nod, and dig for answers. But Earth gave none. The humans acted like nothing had happened. No press conference, no follow-up statement, not even a rebuttal to the swirling rumors. The Council tried sending messages through official channels. Earth replied once, with a standard form, acknowledged. That was it. But underneath the silence, things were moving. Fast. On the fringes of the Eridani expanse, a border patrol from the Yulari Consortium picked up strange movement in the dark sectors. Gravity shifts, warp tunnel fluctuations, long dead wormholes showing signs of reactivation. It was impossible, but the readings were undeniable. Something massive was moving. Several somethings. Aboard the Yulari scout vessel Silver Chime, Ensign Carix watched the long-range scans again. The ship's sensors kept mislabeling the blips